Hi folks, I'm a few minutes late, so I apologise. I was going to wait for everybody to tune in because I know there was a lot of people that told me that they were interested. I've just got in the door, so I've been out all evening, so I'm sorry that I'm late and I am completely smothered. So I will be using tissues. My nose is running, my throat's all cut up, I'm sneezing, and I've taken stuff. I don't know, is it the flu or is it just hay fever, but I've been sick all day. So welcome and thanks for your patience for joining me. Hi Stacey, hi Sinead, thanks for tuning in, and I'm sorry that I look so ghostly pale, but I haven't been feeling well all day. So I didn't really have a topic for today's talk. I kind of wanted to keep it fairly general and answer questions that people had for me. Hi Sandra, hi Geraldine. And I hope it helped that I did give, hi Vicky, that I did give some notice of tonight's session, although I almost didn't make it. I was kind of tearing up the road on the way home. So I'm still rushing around the place trying to get ready. Oh, thanks Leah. Sorry Stacey, I know I've just been explaining why I was late, so I'm really sorry. So anyway, really I kind of, do I have anything to say before I start answering your questions? Not really. One thing that I was kind of, excuse my French, pissed about this morning was a couple of messages that I got last night. And I just want to say to people, please just don't come on Facebook when you're drunk. You make an idiot of yourself, you know. And I was so tempted to share the messages this morning, but I didn't, okay? I kind of figured the time they came in that people were probably drunk, and I'm fair target for that. But I will start banning people with some of the messages that I'm getting. Okay, and I know Diane, you're looking, I can't do psychic readings over here, and I'm not even going to try. You know, if you need to find out that kind of information, you really need a tarot reading or maybe a numerology reading or something like that. Hi Nicola, just all caught up Nicola, I'm not sure is it the flu or is it hay fever or what. I'd only really kind of kicked in today, kind of when I got up this morning, and I was kind of sleeping with the window open because it has been very, I'm going to sit back a little bit because I look like I'm crowding the screen a bit. I've been sleeping with the window open because it's been kind of warm at night time. Kirsty McKenna, you think there's spirits in your home that your nephew can see here? Definitely sense spirits around me. Well, Kirsty, without knowing the exact details, I can't say if it's definitely spirits or who it is, you know. But your nephew can hear, so you don't say what age your nephew is. You know, so I mean, without specific details, it's impossible to tell exactly what's going on within somebody's house. As a child, I always saw spirits in the house at home. So, you know, probably he is sensing spirit, but without the detail, I can't exactly say. Okay. Okay, Ashleen Young, have you ever felt blocked? I had the best of your experiences at the beginning. Okay, blocked from what? Blocked from spirit? Like, can you give me some detail when you're asking questions, guys? Because, you know, I can't mind read at the same time. I mean, I'm assuming, Ashleen, that you're talking about, you know, starting out maybe on a spiritual journey, maybe kind of connecting with spirit, trying to use your own mediumship skills. And I would say, you know, have I ever felt blocked? The only blockages will come from yourself, okay? It's like, I'm very clairsentient, and one of the first things I tend to feel from spirit is something about how they died. So as a teenager, you know, when all that started to kick in, when I stopped seeing them as clearly, like when I was a young child, I would see the spirit in the room with me. So I knew everything about them from what I saw and, you know, what they taught me. But as I got older, it became more about kind of what I felt from them. Anybody that kind of works in this area will know you kind of start with one modality and you move on as you kind of get more experience. You know, different things start happening around you. And I suppose once I got into my teens, the clairsentience really started to kick in. And as you know, one of the first things that I was feeling from spirit was something about how somebody had passed. So, you know, feeling that pain in the chest or, you know, head or wherever, you know, whatever, depending on what way they died. Sorry, I just want to keep an eye on the comments on here as well. Depending on whatever way that they had died, I would feel the pain in that part of my body. And I'm always saying to people that come for readings with me, you know, I'm not medically trained. I can't say to you that this is wrong with somebody or they had pancreatic cancer. You know, I always say to people, I have pain here or I have pain there and it feels like this and it feels like that or whatever. But I never know exactly what's wrong with somebody. I don't know what's wrong with my computer, I can't log in. So I suppose the only blockage that came was at that stage where I pushed it away because I didn't want to be feeling this pain, and it scared me because I thought I was dying. The first time it happened to me, I was a teenager and I was lying in my bed, and it was actually a relative of my own that was trying to come through to me. And I had felt he had died in a lot of pain, and I had felt, you know, that pain, and it felt, you know, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't move, all that kind of stuff. I couldn't call out to anybody. I was in the room on my own, and I didn't know how to control it. And of course, with the emotion that was coming through from him, because we were related, and I was already saying my connection is weak. I'll stay going for as long as I can, keep the internet connection. I haven't yet managed to find a connection that works right here. It's like living in a black spot in Tipperary. But yeah, so I suppose the blockage came from me closing down because I didn't want to feel this pain. I didn't want to know it. It wasn't working. I suppose you could say it was my fear, I suppose, would be the easiest way to put it, that I was scared. And, you know, it's to be expected, especially as a teenager. Michelle, hi Anne-Marie. Michelle, why do spirits come to you when you're about to sleep? Okay, so this is something I've talked about lots on my videos, okay? The reason is because we spend every day, if you're anything like me, we spend all day, every day going around with a head full of things. You know, did I take something out of the freezer for the dinner? You know, did I hang out the washing? Are the school uniforms ready? Have I stuff for packed lunches? You know, all these things going around in my head. Is there enough diesel in the car? And, you know, we never sit down and take a breath. So spirit don't have the time to connect with us generally when we're kind of, you know, going about our daily business. So that's why everybody talks so much about meditation. Because it's just allowing the spirit time to come into our mind, to give us those thoughts and those messages that they're trying to give us. And the easiest time for them to do that is when we're asleep, okay, or when you're just about to fall asleep because you're totally relaxed. You're not necessarily, you know, you notice you don't just get into bed and all of a sudden you've got like 6 spirits talking to you. It's when you wind down, you spend that time reading or whatever, you know, or going through things in your head, and it's just as you're about to fall asleep or when you're asleep that, you know, spirits will start connecting with you, because that's, you know, you haven't got your head full of all this nonsense of everyday life, and they can come in and they can give you their messages and they can show you things in your dreams. So it's the easiest way for them to connect with you. Okay. Hi Jackie. Hi Anya. Okay, I love the name Anya, by the way. You don't have the father on your name, Anya, but I always said if I'd had a little girl, I would have loved to call her Anya or Caught, because I love that name as well. Anyway, beside the point, I don't have a girl, but maybe my next cat or dog I may call Anya or Caught. So what is mediumship? Okay, you know, when I'm describing the difference between psychic ability and mediumship, I put it like this. Psychics read the energy of the living and mediums read the energy of the dead. So when you are going to see a psychic, that's someone who's going to read your energy, what's going on in your life, what's coming up in the future. In the olden days, we would have called it fortune telling, you know, because in the olden days, we assumed that our future was set in stone. There was a certain path set out for us, and, you know, we couldn't deviate from it. But now we understand it a lot better, and we understand that we do have control over our path. So we get our cards. So what, you know, where somebody's using tarot cards, crystal ball, tea leaves, palm reading, whatever way they're doing it, they're reading you essentially, okay? And they're telling you the direction you're headed in and the most likely outcome, but you still have the power to change it. When we talk about mediumship, okay, so the medium is the medium person or the middle person between the spirit world and the earth world, okay? So they are the one that's relaying the message. Instead of medium, if you think of it as a translator, okay? So think of it like that. It's my computer that's popping on and off here, if you can see the light coming and going, by the way. You know, if you think of it as a translator, basically, all they're doing is they're getting the message from spirit in like whatever way they're getting it. You know, we've talked already about the clairsentience, clairaudience, clairvoyance, all those different, clairgustians, all those different ways of getting the message from spirit. So we're getting that message in whatever way we're getting it, and we're giving it out to you in this human language, you know, the human voice, in a way that we can understand it here on earth, okay? So don't think that we're anything special. We're absolutely not. It's just that we've learned, you know, through years of trying, or just that we've never kind of pushed it away. We've just kind of learned to hold on to the message, to interpret them and to give them to other people. my own belief is that everybody can do it, okay? That we're all born connecting with spirit or communicating with spirit. It's just most of us, as we grow up, you know, at a certain age, logic kicks in, and we know that, you know, this person isn't here and we shouldn't be seeing them, we shouldn't be talking to them, and all this kind of stuff. So we push it away. Okay, so you know, just some of us have held on to it longer, or some of us connected with the ability to do it in nature life. But I do believe that we can all learn to read the signs of what we're getting from spirit. But I don't know, Anya, does that explain it to you any better? In that, if you think, instead of using the word mediumship, if you put the word translator in there, and that's all we're doing, we're translating the messages we get from spirit. Okay. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Chris. How are you? Chris is in London. Chris, did I hear that you're coming to Dublin? Contact me. We might be able to meet up while you're over. It'd be great. Hi, Mel. Hi, Eleanor. Hi, Aisling. Aisling, you're not as good as you used to be. Is this with the spirit connections? Are you a medium? Okay. Hi, Clodagh. Hi, Kako. Am I pronouncing your name wrong? I apologise if I am. Okay. Hi, Carrie Louise. Kirsty, try a K2 EVP reader. Maybe trigger object. Okay, I don't know what you mean by that. Hi, Anka. Anka is tuning in all the way from Toronto in Canada. So thank you very much. Okay, Kirsty, your nephew is 3 and your other nephew is 7. He said he heard someone ask him to hold his hand who sounded like his dad. His dad wasn't in the house at the time, so I'm guessing it was a grandfather of mine. Okay, and I'm always saying this to people, you know, yes, exactly what I was saying a few minutes ago, kids have a tendency to see it, okay? So ask him, has he seen this gentleman? And say, you know, don't say to him, oh, you know, don't go like that, you know, something that's going to make him shut down, okay? I always say to people, you know, don't encourage it to the point where kids might feel that they have to make it up. You know, that they, you know, that you're saying, oh, you know, are you sure you're seeing him and this and that and the other or whatever. Just everything he says to you, you know, say, that's brilliant, you know, that's amazing, and I'm so glad that you're doing this, you know, and are you okay? Are you scared? All this kind of stuff, okay? So then, you know, he's saying that it sounded like his dad. So you think it might be a granddad. Show him a picture and ask him, is this the man that he's seeing? Okay, so I would say, you know, don't encourage them, don't tell them to ask any questions, let them take it in their own way, in their own pace, you know, and, you know, I kind of, you know, learned this from talking to my own mother, because, you know, she told me, and she didn't tell me for a long time, because she didn't want me to feel that I had to do this. And, you know, anybody here will know that I didn't start doing readings for people until I was well into my 30s. And, you know, when I was a little girl, when I was a toddler in the cot, and, you know, like you put a child into a cot and they're standing up at the side and they're taking ages to settle down and this and that. But I used to be chatting away to people. So I always spoke to her about the woman that used to come and her son. So the woman would sit for some reason on the top of the wardrobe, probably because I could see her from a lying down position. And the son, her little son, used to sleep with me in the cot. So, you know, this went on for years, and, you know, my mother always just nodded and said, isn't that nice, and all this kind of stuff. She never pushed me in the morning to say, did they come, or were they there, or whatever. There's my Tipperary accent coming out when I don't pronounce my THs, that's the real Tipperary accent. You know, that she wasn't kind of, you know, encouraging me to say things with, you know, that didn't happen, or, you know, that I would disappoint anybody if they hadn't been, or anything like that. So just take everything that they're saying and just say, isn't that great, or that's lovely, or were you scared, or was it okay, and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, let us develop in our own time and let the kids tell you things. Now, if it helps for you so that, you know, you can make sense of it, I would say keep a little, like, diary, like I spoke before about dream diaries. So maybe just get a little notebook, you know, whatever information they give you, write it down, see, does it make sense? Ask them, you know, do they want to draw a picture of this person? Or, you know, pop out, don't exactly put a photo of somebody in front of them, because kids kind of think that you want it to be that person, and they'll say, oh yeah, that's them, is that who you want it to be, Mammy, or do you know that person, Mammy? So maybe just pop a photo in a frame and put it out somewhere they can see it, and see if they comment on it, because if the person in the photo is going to be familiar to them, kids are going to say it, okay? So they don't seem to be scared, okay? You haven't said that they're scared, so, I mean, unless there's a problem, I'd let it lie, okay, and let them develop it in their own way as they will. Okay, hi Siobhan, hi Anya. Oh, never mind. Sorry, Anya, I don't know. Got it. Okay. In what form do I see spirit? Hi, Cynthia. I know Cynthia always tunes in for the live chat, so thanks a million. In what form do I see spirit? It depends. It depends on the spirit and, you know, what way they show it to me. As I say, when I was a little girl, it was always in that physical format, not like Medium on television or any of those programs. They didn't float through walls or ceilings or any of that. They just used to come in, you know, they just used to be there. I suppose as a child, you don't always acknowledge how somebody comes into a room, but they were just there. So very much in the physical format. Now, it could be anything. I do sometimes see them in the physical format. I was on here a few weeks ago talking about someone that had come in during a reading in Waterford, and he did literally come through the wall, walk over to me and kneel down in front of me, and he told me his story. Okay, so I saw that in that form. I was doing a demonstration in front of a group of people one day, and I saw a car crash happening in the room. It was like, you know, if you got a projector and you projected a scene of a movie, and it came out on the audience. That's what it was like. So it was like I could see the car rolling in the audience, and I could see one of the guys got out and one of the guys didn't. And the guy that got out spoke to me. Okay, so I beg your pardon. Yeah, the guy that didn't get out, sorry. It was him that was speaking to me, because obviously the other guy had survived. And, you know, he told me his name, and he told me the other guy's name that had got out of the car, and he, you know, he told me the whole story of it. So as I was there doing the demonstration, sometimes it's just, you know, in your peripheral vision, you might see like an energy, sometimes like a white mist, sometimes like a dark mist, sometimes like you just think you see somebody in the corner of your eye and then they're gone in a split second. And sometimes it's just what I see in my head. Okay, so sometimes they show me things about themselves. Sometimes I feel it like I'm in their eyes and I'm looking at things. So sometimes I'll be here, and people must think I'm mad, because sometimes I'll just be here and I'll say, oh, I feel like I'm them, and I'm looking down at myself and I'm not me. So I'm there. I'm looking down at myself and I see their hands, their body, their feet, you know, and I look around and I see the things that they saw around them, you know, at that moment of death. So, for example, if someone's in a hospital bed dying, and, you know, they're looking around, and I can say, oh, you know, this lady's sitting here, and this lady's standing there, or this gentleman's sitting there, you know, and I'm able to tell them all that detail. So it just depends on how the spirit shows it to me, and it just, you know, I can't say there's one hard and fast way that I see anything. It just really depends. Hi Norma, will I be coming to Waterford again soon? Actually, yeah, I've been trying to arrange stuff, and I just thought I must actually ring the Tower Hotel and maybe organise something. At this stage, Claire, I don't see any point in organising anything, and I kind of tend to not travel as much during the summertime, because, you know, everyone's kind of on holidays or whatever, and at this stage it's kind of back to school. And even though, you know, when I come down, the tickets for the shows are only €10 or whatever, you know, people are pushed around back to school time. So I thought maybe I'd wait until mid-September or something and come back at that stage when things kind of quieten down again and everyone's back from holidays and whatever. Hi Tracy, you're talking about your sister who passed. Sorry to hear that. Ashley Young, you started as clairsentient, but clear knowing is coming in, but it's hard to trust. Well, clairsentience is kind of, it's clear feeling. So it's like feeling and knowing everything that somebody would. So your clairsentience is your clear knowing, if that makes sense. You're sensing it, so you're knowing it. It's hard to trust. Everything's hard to trust. And what I say to you, if you're trying to connect with spirit, is you don't have to make sense of it. You don't have to know what it means. You're not giving the message to the person. You're just relaying the message or interpreting it for somebody. So you're not to make sense of it. You're not to change it. You know, you just say, it's like literally like, and I hope, you know, some of you are probably too young to remember a program used to be on telly called Catchphrase with a guy called Roy Castle, and he always used to say what you see, and that's just my motto for mediumship. Say what you see, or feel, or taste, or smell, or whatever, you know, because, you know, trust it. You have no other option but to trust it, because you don't know the person, you know. If you're trying to give a message to somebody, I don't know the person that they have lost, and all I can do is tell them, you know, like sometimes you get random things. I'm trying to think of something now, but I know recently I was saying to I can't say that, And they would know, say it, it makes sense to the person. And you know, it did. And I said, this is going to sound so random, but I have to say it. And it just made total sense. And that one thing, and all you need sometimes in a reading, if you're doing a reading for somebody, is just that one thing that they can hold on and say, oh my God, there is no way you could have known that. That is definitely my loved one. And that's all somebody needs to know, that they still live on somewhere. And it's just that one phrase, that one sentence, that one memory, whatever it is. It might not be what they're expecting, but once it's something that they know connects totally to their loved one, that's all you need. Hi Sandra, you had the most amazing scent in your bedroom the other night. You were alone and no candles burning. The scent lingered for about half an hour. I was sure someone was with me, but love to know who. Okay Sandra, you don't say what the scent was. What did it smell like? And it doesn't matter what it means to you. What does it mean to you? Okay, you know, like, it's easy to say sometimes when I have somebody here for a reading, it's easy to say, I smell tobacco, okay? Now, I'm a non-smoker and I don't know much about cigarettes or tobacco or anything like that, but I know the difference between like a cigarette that's bought as a cigarette, or the stronger smell maybe of tobacco that's rolled in the little paper, or there's, you know, I can't really tell the difference between cigar or pipe smell, but I know it's stronger again, you know. So it just depends what a particular smell means to you. So, you know, I might be able to say to somebody, you know, did your relative smoke a cigar or a pipe? Because I smell a really strong tobacco smell. Or, you know, this lady, this grandmother that I'm connecting with, and the scent of lavender, or, you know, whatever it might be, carbolic soap, you know, some kind of perfume. Now, I don't always know the exact type of perfumes, but on occasion they've shown me the bottle of perfume that I'm talking about. So, you know, it depends on the scent, Sandra. What does it mean to you? Like, I can't always tell you exactly what it means to you. I can tell people when they come for reading that I smell a scent, but what does it mean to you? What did you smell? You know, I know you tell me no candles burning. Was it tobacco? Was it turf? Was it an aftershave? Was it smelly feet? You know, what did you smell? Do you see you in your bedroom? You're in your bedroom, you know. So, you know, partner passed or whatever, you might smell them. And, you know, we all have an individual scent. You know, even I connect with my husband from his scent. You know, we are animals at the end of the day. So, you know, it really just depends on what it means to you. Hi, Catherine. I think, you know, guys, because I had hoped that I would be able to get some messages from Spirit, but I was saying this to somebody earlier today, that I don't normally take medication. I'm the one that'll always be complaining of the headache, and I don't like taking tablets or whatever, because of the fact that, you know, when you take medication, it dulls some part of your senses, okay? So say, for example, I had a headache and I took some aspirin or Nurofen or whatever I take to dull that pain, and then I'm going to do a reading for you. But your relative has died of a brain hemorrhage. I'm not going to get it, okay? So I think because I'm so dosed up today, because I've had a miserable day, I might not get messages, okay? But I will try my best. Hi Elaine, you can't watch my videos, your phone isn't great. You're really having a bad year and struggling daily. I worry and stress yourself sick. What is happening to you? Okay, everyone has a limit and I've hit mine. Okay, Elaine, well look, you really need to get your cards read or something, you know, with regards to that. That's not something that I'm going to be able to answer like in one sentence over a reading like this. But I definitely will send you healing, Elaine. And I'm sorry that you can't join into the chat more. But yeah, definitely I think you need to get a reading. Hi Anka, you keep hearing a high-pitched sound in your ear when you're thinking or talking about Mama who passed. Is that her letting me know she hears me? Okay, well think deeper, Anka, okay? So I know your mother's died 4 months, and you know, I'm really sorry about that, and I know the effect that it's had on you. So what does it mean? What does that particular thing mean? Do you ever remember your mom complaining of a pain in her ear? Did she suffer with something to do with her ear? It sounds like she's trying to let you know. I mean, I'm trying to think, a high-pitched sound in your ear. Did she have tinnitus? You know, was there something where she lived in her final days? Was there something there that would have made this sound that she would have heard? So just try and think, you know, what that means. And perhaps, you know, perhaps it doesn't necessarily connect to your mom who passed 4 months ago. Don't forget that a month in spirit time is like a day. I beg your pardon, the other way around. A month in earth time is like a day to spirit time. So if mom's passed 4 months, to her it's like 4 days. So it's still very early. And I've been talking to Anka before, and so I know that mom was sick before she passed. Does that connect to another relative? Perhaps it connects to your dad, or maybe a sister or brother of mom, someone trying to let you know that she's okay. Okay, but that might be somebody else coming through. So think back to who had the problem with the ears, who could have heard it. And I'm really inclined to think that it's not your mom. And I really actually want to talk about a sister maybe for your mom. So just think, did mom have a sister who passed to spirit before her? And would this lady have had a hearing problem? Tinnitus, some kind of deafness in one ear, okay? Something that would have given this kind of high-pitched sound, okay? Now, I'm not saying that it's not you hearing, but clear audience, which is clear hearing, isn't always about hearing the voice of a loved one. It's about hearing a noise that connects. So like I said, you know, when I heard the plane going over the house, I was aware of the lady that was sitting to me, that there was some connection between her husband and planes, and he was a pilot. Okay, so sometimes you'll hear an ambulance when you're ringing for somebody, and you know that there was some kind of tragedy, some kind of, you know, resuscitation attempt, somebody was working on them. You know, so sometimes you might just hear a sound that that connects in some way to something that the person was going through. So think back, what does that mean to you, Anka, with someone connected to your mum? Hi Mel, have you ever had people come to you for readings that didn't believe in mediumship but left believing? Well, you know, you probably have to ask them that. They say to me, you know, some people will say to me, my God, you know, this really has shown me things or whatever. But I suppose I don't put too much store in what people say immediately after a reading, okay, because it's a very emotional experience, and sometimes they have to go away and think about it. So look, we have over 100 people tuning in here now. You know, did anybody come to me for a reading? Did anything that I say make you believe that your loved one was okay? You know, did you not believe when you came? And I suppose I'm thinking back to, you know, and I do always say it, I'm not a circus pony. If you don't believe in something, why go for a reading? You know, so maybe people wouldn't tell me before they came if they didn't believe, because I don't think that I'm here to prove anything to anyone. I'm here to provide evidence that your loved one lives on somewhere, but I'm not necessarily here to prove it. Okay, I'm not a magician. And as I said, only that one piece of information that you get from your relative. There's a saying, and I can't remember who said it, that for some people, there's never enough evidence, and for others, no evidence will ever be required. So, you know, you're dealing with so many different personalities that, you know, what's enough for one person isn't enough for another. Some people you'll be able to give that piece of information just by telling them, you know, how their loved one died and the age they were and all that kind of stuff. And other people then will want to know what that person had for breakfast the day they died. So, you know, some people, you know, will want everything, you know. And I had a lady actually that came to me recently, and she had so many questions. And during the reading, you know, she said to me, you know, I don't think that's that person, because if that was them, they would have said this, or they would have mentioned this, or they would have wanted to talk about this. So I had to stop the reading, and I had to say to the person, well, look, it's not about what you think a person would say. It's about what they want to say to you, okay? So, like when you're having a conversation with a friend, you know, you can't always direct them as if to say, you know, we're having a conversation today, but I don't want you to talk about what you're going to wear on Saturday night. I only want to talk about what happened last Friday night, okay? So, you know, you can't always control a conversation in that way. So it's the same with spirit. We let them talk about the things that they want to talk about, okay? And you know, we can't always control the conversation in a particular way. Sometimes, you know, we can ask the questions. Someone says, I have a question. I say, ask it. We'll throw it into the mix. We hope they give us an answer. I can't guarantee, because I'm only telling you what the spirit is telling me. So, you know, people have all kinds of different reactions to readings, so I can't speak for them. But thanks for your question, Mel. I get it. I must ask people more. Hi, Mary. Hi, Clodagh. Hi, Marie. Hi, Nicola. If you're doing a lot of meditation lately, you begin to sense a lot of things. In particular, you're feeling someone touching the top of your head all the time. Not frightened, you feel quite comforted. Not quite sure who this is or what messages are. Well, that's the start of it, Nicola, okay? And it's about, you're saying you're doing the meditation, you know, and it is about giving that time to spirit to come through. So you're starting to feel, you know, someone touching your head. So does it feel like fingertips, or do you feel that something's going on within somebody's head? You know, I mean, you can only describe the sensation to you. So you're feeling like it's someone touching the top of your head. which is absolutely fine. So what does that mean to you? Do you feel like this is, you know, next time you're meditating and you start to feel it on the top of your head, don't close down, because that's one thing we're terrible for doing all the time. Okay, so don't close down. Don't start thinking, oh my God, they're here, you know, and then all of a sudden, bang, the energy's gone. So just breathe it in and start thinking things in your head like, you know, do I feel like I'm male or do I feel like I'm female? Do I feel like I'm young? Do I feel like I'm old? And sometimes, you know, if I'm finding somebody difficult to read, I imagine the words in my head. So I'll put like man or woman, and I'll imagine those two words in my head and ask them to make one clearer for me. And they do, you know, and, you know, sometimes if I'm not exactly getting an age, I'll either ask them to show themselves or, you know, give them a range of ages that they might choose it from. So start asking them questions, okay? Don't be afraid to ask them questions. If they don't want to answer, they won't. Okay, so it's not necessarily that they're giving you a message right now, it's that they're starting to let you know that they're coming through. So you need to develop on this, and that's what the practice and the meditation is all about. Hi Chelsea, there's a lot of changes going on at your job. Will positions open up? And what you, okay, I'd have to do a tarot card reading for that, Chelsea. Hi Agnes. Hi Bridget. Hi Siobhan. Hi Elaine, your beautiful dad who lived with you for 14 years and now he's gone. You cry daily, missing him so much. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Elaine. And I know there was a message from you further up, but I can't remember what it was. Sorry, but I'm so sorry to hear about your dad. But, you know, talk to him. I'm always talking about, you know, being like each other's walkie-talkie. So you're here, your dad's there. You're giving off all this like vibration, like radio signals and stuff like that. So I just want to stop this computer going like that. But I can't get the right password, but it's annoying me. And I want to work on something when I finish. There it is. Okay. So, what was I saying to you? Yeah, that you're like the walkie-talkies. So, you know, you're giving out, when you think about somebody or you talk about them, it's like sending this vibration into the universe. And it, you know, they pick up on it. Because they're connected to you, they're on your wavelength, they're your loved ones, you know, they're the ones that are waiting for you to connect with them. So, you know, talk to him, he'll hear you. He might not be able to answer you back just yet, but give him some time, okay? Was there chest issues or breathing issues with your dad? I just feel like even like I'm talking, I'm getting all caught up there, okay? Hi Magella, can you call a spirit to come to connect with a loved one, or do you have to wait till they come forward themselves? Okay, I always say to people that when I'm doing a reading, it's almost like opening a door and sticking your head out and saying, is there anybody here that wants to talk to us today? You know, or like Magella, if you were here, I'd say, is there anybody here that wants to talk to Magella? And you know, you are going to get sometimes some chancers coming in who never get anybody looking to speak to them. And, or maybe, you know, your neighbour's son's girlfriend's next door neighbour's daughter's dog has passed and wants to get a message through. And they might come in as pretty random messages. But generally, like if any of you saw the butterfly on the page last week, they know you're coming. You've told them, okay? So like, you know, very rarely I have like a cancellation or taking an appointment on the same day. So, you know, everybody has noticed that the reading's coming up. You've told them, you're saying, well, you know, I've got a reading now. I'm meeting with Sandie Byrne Medium on the 16th and, you know, it's at 8 o'clock and you're going to be there. And I always think of this lady that I had coming to see me. And it was her son that had passed, and I didn't know this obviously when she came, but there was particular circumstances surrounding her son's passing, and I started to talk about them at the end of the previous reading, and she said, no, you've kind of gone off it now. Like I was connected with the lady who was before her, I was connected with her loved one. Next thing I started going off talking about all this other stuff, and she said, that's no connection to me. I said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, another energy's come in. So I cut it off and I went back. But when this other lady came in, and I connected with her son, then all this information started coming in again. And I said, hang on a minute. I said, he was here about 20 minutes ago. I said, because he came in, I said, before the end of the other reading. And it turned out that the day of the reading, she'd gone to his grave. She told him, you know, hey, Bucko, you were always late in life. I have a reading tonight. I have 60 minutes or less. And she said, I want you there on time because I'm not, you know, not wasting time waiting for you. She said, don't be late. So he wanted to let her know he was there early. And he did that by coming in early and interrupting my appointment beforehand, and the other lady did not mind at all. But that was his joke to his mother. Okay, you told me not to be late. I was actually here 20 minutes early, And that's what he wanted to let her know. Okay, so generally they do come forward themselves. Okay. Kim McTaggart, you hear an old radio station but can't quite tonight and can't hear what they're saying. Oh, you're telling me that you, like in with clairaudience, that you're hearing an old radio station and you haven't a radio on? Is that what you're trying to say? But you can't quite tonight, you can't quite hear it. So for some reason it's not coming through as strong. You know, you'll rarely get, that's why I say to people, I won't read you if you've had a reading within the last 6 months. It's the first question I ask people when they come in the door. When was your last reading? You know, if you've had a reading before, yes or no, and when was it? Because, you know, first of all, when spirits are coming through, they have to, it depletes all of their energy, okay? So they'll come through, they'll give us the messages, we'll see them, we'll hear them, we'll do whatever whatever way we need to get the message from them. But, you know, come the end of that message, you know, generally their, you know, their energy is so low. And that's why, like, I might have 3 siblings that come together, but they want separate readings. But what I'll do then sometimes is like bring them in together, you know, and read people like their mother or their father or their sister or brother or whoever's died, read that person, you know, together, and then separate them for other people that they know that have passed, or for their tarot card readings or wherever else it is that they want. But, you know, the chances of keeping a spirit here for 3 hours, you know, is slim and nil, because, you know, they're getting tired. Can you imagine even just living on the moon and trying to get a message down here to Earth, okay? It's just, you know, it's phenomenal, the amount of energy that it takes for them to come through. And I mean, I don't mean that they're living on the moon, but, you know, I'm just trying to give you an idea of what it would be like if you were to try, and even if you were sitting across from me here and you were trying to put a message into my head through telepathy, like, you know, we'd both be exhausted after 5 minutes. So for someone to come through and stay 3 hours, you know, it's generally unheard of, okay? But I'm not saying it's impossible. You know your loved ones better than I do. And it has happened where I have had readings where I've read them all separately and the person does come through. But invariably what you'll find is that one person will be disappointed because they didn't get as strong a reading as the others. So, and my point with saying that, Kim, is that if you're hearing something through your clairaudience, like a radio station, all the time, and you can't hear it tonight, whoever's giving you this might be just exhausted, okay? So, you know, we can't expect them to be with us, talking to us every minute of every day, okay? Let's make it about quality and not quantity. Okay, would love a reading, I know. Hi, Kira, thanks for that. Hi, Nora. You need to, yeah, I do need to take a little time for myself, but I will do at some stage. Hi, Anya, how can you make an appointment? You can make an appointment through my website, it's all on there. How many years did you start reading as a medium? You mean reading for other people? I mean connecting with spirit all my life. Reading for others. I've been doing this now full time for a little over 2 years. Yeah, a little over 2 years. But I did do it part-time for a little while. Basically, I had a full-time job. And I started doing it on Saturday afternoons. And then the Saturday afternoons got booked up months in advance. And then I started doing it on Sunday afternoons for a little while. And they got booked up for months in advance. So I cut down my full-time job to 4 days a week, then 3 days a week. So I'm actually, I keep saying, I'm actually just on a career break at the moment. I'm in my 3rd year of a 5-year career break. So, you know, whether I go back or not, I'm not sure yet. But as for reading for people, 2.5 years full-time, and then maybe a year or two before that, part-time. So not very long is probably the answer that I want to give you, because I never had the confidence, and I never imagined, like, you know, I'm 42 years old now. I have no qualms about telling what age I am. I'm 42 years old, just turned there a couple of months ago. And like when I was young, you know, like now if a kid comes up to you or someone comes up to you and says, you know, I can talk to spirit, you're going to say, you're going to make a fortune. And believe me, you're not, okay? But, you know, you might say to someone, you're going to make a fortune, or, you know, that's something you can do for a living. But, you know, when I was growing up, that was just not a career option, okay? You just didn't do it, okay? So you want to put your head in the books. So it was only really as I got older And the majority of readers would have connected with their ability to give messages to other people and not just the messages that they're getting for themselves a little older in life, because unless you have life experience, you have little to offer other people. And I do know of quite a well-known medium who has done it all their life, you know, from when they were late teens, and much older now, but has less patience with people, less understanding of what they're going through. And I just feel like in the same way in Ireland we would have said, like, for example, when I did my pre-marriage course all those years ago, it was done by a priest, and everybody in the course felt hard done by. I said, why should I listen to a priest about life experience when, or marriage experience, when they don't have any and never will? Okay, so if you relate that to mediumship, how can I relate to your grief if I've never had a loss? You know, and how can I relate to what you're going through in life on a daily basis if I haven't experienced life? And, you know, the more life we experience, I remember TJ Higgs saying to me, and TJ is a very well-known medium in the UK, and I can't recommend her enough, she's amazing. And she said, you know, that she watched a lot of junk television, and, you know, her excuse was for it was that she needed the reference for things. So say, for example, I remember at the time I was talking to her, there was a lady on a show, one of those Australian soap operas, that was going through breast cancer at the time. And, you know, so that became her reference for a while for people who suffered from breast cancer. So if she was connecting with a spirit who suffered from breast cancer, in her head they showed her this particular lady on the telly who was also suffering from breast cancer. So all I'm saying to you is, the more you take in, we're like sponges, we take in so much and everything becomes a reference point. And I even had a particular situation with somebody recently where their loved one had died under specific circumstances, and it was something that I hadn't encountered before. So when I felt it, I wasn't sure, but they said it made sense to them, which was fine. So at the end of the reading I said, that was kind of a feeling that I didn't necessarily have before. I said, do you mind if I ask the exact circumstances of the death, because I needed to know for the next time. It's all frozen a little. Okay, so it's not, I'm not saying that I'm a better medium for coming to reading a little later in life, okay? But I don't want anybody out there to think that just because they haven't been working as a medium from the age of 19, which is totally possible, it just wasn't, you know what, how many years ago since I was 19, I don't even want to think about it, but it wasn't a career option when I was that, but it totally is possible, and it totally is possible that, because I've seen some amazing younger mediums. The only thing that I'm saying to people here is that a lot of you are adults with families of your own and life experience behind you. You know, that it's not too late for you to discover that you can do this and that you can connect with your loved ones yourself, okay? So don't worry, Norma, about how long I've been doing it, or how long, you know, Sally Morgan or Colin Fry or John Edward or any of those famous people have been reading. It doesn't matter, okay? If you connect for the first time with spirit at 76 years of age, that's amazing. If you connect with spirit at the first time at 6 years of age, that's amazing. Or 26 or 16, it doesn't matter. The point is that you can do it, and that you know you can do it, and that, you know, you finally have broken that link, that wall, that barrier, I suppose, between your life and the spirit life. Now, I don't want to bore people, and I know I've been talking a long time, and I know everybody wants a reading. I do. Hi Deirdre. Oh, thank you, Deirdre. That's lovely. Deirdre saying that I explain everything so easy to understand, and you'd love to be able to connect to spirit. Well, Deirdre, you absolutely can connect to spirit. There's no reason why you can't. Deirdre, I was thinking of a different Deirdre. Sorry, but because I know another Deirdre with a similar surname to yours, but. You know, if you have young kids or anything, I think sometimes we have less time to put into it, you know, because, you know, we have more things to think about. We have enough baby wipes, pseudocreme, formula, all this kind of stuff. You don't put yourself under pressure. All I'm saying is give yourself time, and we all talk about meditation, and I don't want to put anybody under pressure either. 10 minutes twice to 3 times a week. All you need to do is just sit down, give yourself some time, you know. Sorry, my nose is starting to run again. I think that means my medication's starting to wear off. Okay, so give yourself 10 minutes twice to 3 times a week. It's just time where you're not thinking about everything that's going on, and, you know, the dog's barking, or the, you know, the kids need feeding or anything. Just where you're just mind blank and just concentrate. And if there's a relative, and this was taught to me by a medium years ago, you know, because I was saying, I know they're there, but I can't necessarily connect with them. And she said to me, you know, just take the time, okay, take a few minutes, just picture them in your head, okay, and just concentrate on your picture of them. So close your eyes, do your breathing, in through the nose and out through the mouth, slow your heart rate down a little bit, okay? You're not slowing it down significantly enough now that you're going to drop over, okay? Be aware of your blood pressure and all that kind of stuff, okay? I don't need to tell you all that. But it's just to calm your energy mostly. And if you do that, if you in through the nose and out through the mouth, to calm yourself down, take a few breaths, it's just to allow your body to settle down, your heartbeat to slow a little, because when you connect with spirit and when you feel their presence, your heart rate accelerates, okay? So it's the easiest way to know if somebody is around. My heart rate always gets quicker. So I don't want to go from a quick heart rate to an even quicker heart rate, okay? I do know that's called tachycardia, because I used to watch Casualty some years ago, okay? That's probably the only medical term I know. But yes, so you never want your heart to go too fast. And if you can slow it down a little bit, just so that you can see the difference between when spirits are there and when they're not there, okay? But Deirdre, everybody can do it. And, you know, if anybody's interested, if I ever get my room painted, I am hoping, I was hoping in September. The room's not painted yet. It's ready to paint, but it's just not painted yet and furnished. But I'm hoping to do some meditation classes, okay? And I'm going to start with relaxation meditation, so people know how to relax themselves. And maybe after Christmas develop... I'm back. Okay. I won't stay much longer because I know it gets to a certain point now where everybody's logging onto the internet and it makes it harder. But Deirdre, yeah, everyone can do it. So, you know, if you're in the Tipperary area and you're interested in that, we will definitely do that. Okay, so Helen, you're saying you get the smell of flowers. There was no flowers around. Well, what does flowers mean to you? Did you have a grandmother who grew flowers? You know, I can't tell you what the particular smells mean. You know, you have to interpret that for yourself, okay? So you've got clairgaussians. Clairgaussians is clear smelling. So like the way that, you know, I was saying smelling perfumes or tobaccos or whatever, what does the smell of fresh flowers mean to you? Who used to bring the fresh flowers? Or who used to have the fresh flowers? Do you smell them in the kitchen? Do you smell them in the sitting room? Who used to have fresh flowers in that particular room? Or who used to bring you fresh flowers to put in that room? Okay, so think about it yourself, okay? Olivia, you've experienced some stuff and have been told you have a gift. You need to look into a few options, but not sure how to go about it. I'm a bit confused at the moment. Any tips? Olivia, where do you live? Because it just depends. You see, when I was growing up as well, I mean, there isn't anything in... Say, for example, I'm in Tipperary. There's no such thing as a spiritual church. There's no such thing as a circle. There's no way to develop your gift or to, you know, increase your confidence with it. So that's probably another reason why I didn't start doing readings to people till I was much older. And it is harder, you know, when you're in an area like that. And that's why I'm hoping to get the meditation classes up and running, because it will be a way to develop. And, you know, once we get into the meditation for spiritual connection, that's a real way to develop. So it's just about getting in with people, maybe even, you know, doing courses when they come up. And, you know, there are different people that do different courses, and, you know, it might even be something that I will consider doing in the new year. I'm not sure yet, but watch this space, because it's something that people are asking me for more and more. And maybe if I get this space finished, maybe we could even, you know, consider doing if we get the meditation done, you know, that we'll develop it and we'll move on and we'll start sitting in circle and we'll start working on our concentration. And, you know, I've heard horror stories of people that have sat in circles and they've spent 2 years watching a candle flame just to get their focus. I promise I won't put you through that, okay? All I can do, and anybody can do, is give you the basics, Olivia. So when I'm saying to you, give yourself 10 minutes twice to 3 times a week. So make sure, whether it's kids in bed, whether it's husband at work or packed off to bed, get the house to yourself. Make sure it's quiet. Sit down, relax. If you want to put on some soft music, always pick a piece of music if you can that doesn't have any lyrics in it, for the simple reason that you'll only end up singing along or listening to the lyrics. Try, you know, a piece of just music without lyrics. Put it on if it relaxes you. You can do it without it if that relaxes you too. And just sit back, concentrate on your breathing. You know, it's a lot of us have to do it on our own, especially if you're living in Ireland. Unfortunately, that's just the way it's been. But there are new things coming up. So what part of the country are you in? If I don't get to it this evening, I'll try and answer your message maybe tomorrow, whatever. But, you know, it's about finding out what's on near you and keeping your ear to the ground, really. Okay, so I'm going to go in a minute. Dream of your daughter with your deceased brother. Both looked happy. Why wouldn't they be? Why wouldn't they be happy to be back together again, to be able to connect with you? And, you know, we're not going to a terrible place when we die. You know, it can't be any worse than this place. We won't have bills to pay. We won't have work to go to. Not in the... We will have something to do, but it won't be work in the traditional sense that we have here on Earth. You know, it's a much nicer place. You know, and there's so much love, and there's none of this anger or hatred or any of that. We don't have skin colours. You know, we don't have different religions, and we'll be able to live in much nicer peace. You know, I wish we could find that kind of acceptance of other people on this earth, and that we could enjoy it as much as we will in the afterlife. Okay. Hi Nadine, how are you? Okay, I'm going to go to bed now in a minute because I do have readings tomorrow. How do you connect with them? There's other videos, guys. If you go onto my YouTube page, like I've talked about a lot of these ways of connecting and a lot of different types of connections and stuff. So don't be afraid to go on there, you know, when you have time. I know some of them, like tonight now, I've talked too long. I'm trying to get answers to as many questions as I can. And thanks to those who have hung in there with me. But yeah, Sue, I think some of those answers, if you go back through this video, even you'll get. You know, I've got an awful lot, Pamela O'Brien, recently, of people looking for me to come to Galway. And you know what I'm going to do tomorrow, folks? Tomorrow I'm going to put a post on my page and I'm going to say, you know, to like the town, you know, so I'm going to put a post up, say these are the towns that I'm considering going to, because I can only hold an event somewhere where I have enough interest. So, and for most part, I would keep ticket prices at €10 per ticket. If it's somewhere that's more expensive for a venue like Dublin, Galway, sometimes it may be €15 a ticket. But what I'm going to do then is I'm going to put different comments. So I'm going to, like, under the post, I'm going to put like comment Limerick, Galway, Dublin, Cork, Waterford, you know, all those kind of places. And, you know, if you have an interest in going to a particular place, just like the comment. And, you know, then I'll see if there is enough interest in a place. Because if I don't sell enough tickets to cover the cost of an event, I have to cancel it, and it's just a waste of my time and a waste of your time. So that's what I'm going to do tomorrow, and all those places that you're interested in, then I'm going to try and get them organised for maybe, you know, September through November. And I don't like to be on the road again in December, January when the weather's really bad. So we'll get as many as we can done before then, and then back on the road again in February. So we'll get as many as we can done. Hi Nadine, you always feel like there's someone with you again. You know, I think we all have somebody with us. It's just learning to make that connection, Nadine. But, you know, what are the different things you feel around, you know, do you smell things? Do you hear things? Is there a particular time of the day? You know, think of everything that's going on around you and what does it mean to you? Hi Kelly, I'm sorry the video keeps freezing. I have very bad internet. If anybody runs an internet company that can provide internet at my location, it's all the details of my location are on my website. If anybody can provide any kind of decent internet connection in my area, I would love to hear from you because I just can't find anybody. Okay, so guys, I know Mandy Riley, a picture of Spirit appeared in a photo of you this weekend. Can you help me identify it? Maybe not, Mandy. You know, bring the picture with you. You know, I don't know what way did it come up as an orb. You know, I know somebody was posting pictures and I was feeling jovial and I shared them, but you know, there's all kinds of pictures. It's easy to manipulate pictures. That's why I'm always a little bit slow to comment on what I think about pictures, because I do know, and I've seen so many different ones over the years, it's easy to manipulate a picture these days. We've got so much software. And even like, you know, I think for a lot of legal cases now, they will only accept a picture where they can have a negative that can be viewed, because, you know, that there are so many manipulations that can be used. So I'm not a lawyer, okay, I might be wrong on that, but from what I've been told, and, you know, so, I mean, unless, you know, you're a parapsychologist or something and you've been there and you've seen the circumstances that a photo has been taken under, it's impossible always to tell. You know, there are people that do that for a living, that they look at photos like that. You know, I mean, if you want to bring a photo of a loved one, that's what psychometry is about. I can't even always think of the terms, but people, you know, I do, and other mediums do, we use these terms, you know, as clairsentience, clairvoyance, all this kind of stuff that people don't know what they mean. And psychometry is where you hold a photo and you connect with somebody. So yeah, so maybe I can connect with that person in the photo, maybe not. It's only one way to find out, Mandy. Hi Susan, I'm a breath of fresh air. Well, thank you. I'm not getting much air into my fresh air into my nose today, so I hope it improves tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm reading, so I can't take medication. So I will be quite, anybody that's coming tomorrow, I apologise in advance for the snot. Hi Bridget. Okay, so Catherine Doyle is telling me there that lately she's in bed, she gets a smell of perfume, it's not hers, she thinks of her sister. So the particular perfume that she's smelling makes her think of her sister. Catherine, there's no finer way that she can let you know that she's around you. Dennis Brooks, did anyone ever tell you what it's like in the next world? Everybody tells me different experiences, and the closest that what I can gather to it, I've mentioned this book so many times, 7 Steps to Eternity by Stephen Turov. If you're interested, have a read. Okay guys, I know there's loads more. I'll try and get through them and answer them. Yeah, I never get through all those, okay, and people will only be, I just went to the, hi James Colburn from Texas. Hi James from Tipperary. You used to own a bar with orbs and destruction on YouTube under Colburn's Bar. It's real, folks. Okay, I'll have a look, James, and we'll have a look. Okay, well, listen, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. I promise I will try at some stage to get through all the other messages and answer you as I go through. But thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned something, and we'll do one again soon. Take care.